Welcome back to another video and audio here. I'm very excited to have Phillip Villegas with me and excited to have him, excited to hear his story and share his story with you guys. I'm sure we're going to drop some serious gold nuggets here to be able to provide you guys with actionable steps that you guys can implement to make a lot of money in real estate investing and wholesaling. So very excited to have you. Thank you for being here and sharing your story with us, my friend.
Hey, thanks for having me, man. I'm excited.
For sure, for sure. So let's dive in. I would love to get to know, and I'm sure the audience would as well, like your backstory before real estate investing. So how long ago did you get into real estate?
Yeah, so the end of July of 2018 is when I started real estate.
Just barely over 2 years, man.
Yeah, it's barely over 2 years.
Perfect.
I've been in insurance since like 99, working for a company. Then I opened up my own agency in 2016.
Okay.
Just doing that and
selling like health insurance or
auto, commercial, and home insurance. I was licensed for the life and health, but people don't like to buy life and health insurance. So I didn't do a lot of that. It was more auto and commercial.
Gotcha. So you were doing that and you said you opened up your own little agency. How many people do you have under you?
It was just me, actually. I ran the whole thing by myself. So it was just working out of my house. It was all referrals. So yeah, it was just me. It was a lot of work.
Did you absolutely love it? I assume not.
I've always enjoyed insurance and always helping people.
Yeah.
So that's why I opened up my own agency instead of working for somebody else. I wanted to be able to do my own thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, working by yourself, having to handle everything can be pretty tedious on you. Take a lot of your time, take you away from your family and stuff like that.
Gotcha. So you were doing that and you said you had family. So what's the family structure look like?
Yeah, so I'm married. It'll be 8 years actually Friday. We're going to celebrate that here on
Congrats, brother.
on this weekend, our one night out. So I've got a 6-year-old, Jackson, and then a 1-year-old. Her name is Addie.
Addie. That's awesome. For a second. Our kids are really close. So I got a boy at 6 and a girl that's 2.5. So.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. We're done. Are you guys done? Or are you still?
I'm done, but it's not really up to me, I don't think.
Well, I am done. We had it taken care of. We're done.
Oh, well, you're brave, man. Brave. Yeah, man. I don't know. We might have more, but you know, I want to have more, but I don't want to go through the 1 to 2 year old stage again. Like that is not fun for me. Once they hit about like 1.5, 2, they get fun, but before then they're not very much fun.
My son was good. He was like, it's crazy. He's been perfect, like up until 6. Like at 1 and 2, people are like, oh, you're going to see the terrible 2s. Oh, we didn't see it. They're going to, oh no, you got to wait till the 3s. He was actually really good. So we were like, well, we'll be safe the second one. And they always say the second one's opposite of the first. She's at 1. She's more stubborn, I think, than he was, but she's still a great kid. Yeah, we got lucky.
Well, they're fun. They bring a lot of joy into our lives. I love your family, man. Like, tell me about like what were you dealing with that pushed you into doing something completely outside of what you were doing before? Like, why take that risk? You have a family, you were making okay money, it sounds like. Why even think about something else?
So I wanted something that was going to give me a lot more freedom and not so hands-on like the insurance thing was. Like you get, if you get an insurance policy, you've got to handle the customer service, the payments, there's a claim, you want to help them with the claim. And yeah, you have to constantly be touching on them when it comes to the insurance policy. So it's like pretty much 24/7 whenever you own the agency, unless you hire somebody. And there's not as much money when it comes to insurance, like when it is to real estate. You can make pretty good money when it comes to real estate, or you can buy like a property and then have it generate income for you. But even with the insurance, as long as you build a book, you're going to build that premium for you that you're going to see, but it's not as much as you can see when it comes to insurance or when it comes to real estate. So yeah, it was one random, like Thanksgiving, I was at my in-laws' house, just sitting on the couch. We were there visiting and jumped on the internet. Quick money, or like work from home, and then and that's where I started going.
Gotcha. I lost you there for a second, but you said that you were dealing with it, and then you got online, and then you broke up.
Yeah, so I just got online, just looking for something, something to help me make money quick, I guess. That wasn't like hands-on, and I just came across wholesaling. So I kind of looked into it and then started listening to podcasts, and then came across Brent Daniels and joined the TTP group at that time, and then just hit the ground running from there.
Love it. Love it. So you had some sales experience. So getting on the phone and talking to people out of the blue, like that was just what you did and already. And so I assume it wasn't too hard. You had some good success. I love Brent Daniels myself. Great dude. So you jumped into that program. Tell me about what those first few months look like.
After joining the TTP, or
Yeah, was that like the first thing you did, or did you start off on your own trying to make mistakes yourself, or like how did you get that first deal? What was that process like?
Yeah, so I joined the Sean Terry online thing, pay $97 Thanksgiving deal is what I did, just to, I guess, kind of learn what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good for me. So that's where I started listening to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, found Brent Daniels, joined that, started the cold calling, started the driving for dollars. Most of my deals, 90% of my deals are all from driving for dollars. And my first one was actually, I called the person after finding them with the driving for dollars. And she called me back. She was like, "Hey, thank you so much for calling me. And yeah, I need to get rid of this house. It's just been sitting there for like 2 years. I was going to flip it myself." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then so I was like, "Great."
People are going to hear this and be like, that doesn't exist. That
No,
only
I know,
exists,
right?
That only exists in someone else's market. But tell people where you live, right? And let's talk about that. Where do you live?
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm in the Austin market. We're probably one of the most like competitive markets out there.
Yes, that's why I
Ton of
want you to
wholesalers
say.
here. Ton
So
of
there was a
buyers.
house. There was a house sitting vacant
Yeah.
for 2 years. And this person's like, thank you so much for calling me.
Yeah.
For 2 years, guys, like, and gals, and anyone listening to this. So you get this deal. So tell me about that. You call them and they're like, yes, like I'd love to sell it. So then what happened?
Yeah. So I called, and I left a voicemail. She called me back. Like I said, she said, "Thank you so much for calling me. It's been sitting there. I can't deal with it. I live in Fort Worth now, or live in Dallas area." Okay, great. Well, tell me a bit about it. She told me a little about it, being vacant and stuff. The flooring was all pulled up and stuff. So just needed flooring, things like that. Cause she was going to start to flip it herself, but she ran out of money. So, I asked her for a price. She gave me her price. I was actually going to offer probably a little bit more than what she was asking for. And I thought it was just way too good. So I didn't want to play the whole, "Oh, are you sure that's as low as you can go?" I think I asked it once and she's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, let's get it done." Did the contract, docu-signed it to her. I wasn't this was my first deal back then. So I didn't know about having them on the phone when you have them docu-sign it. So I just sent it to her. So it sat there for overnight. She didn't look at it the next day either. So I called her. She didn't pick up. I left another voicemail like later on that day. She didn't pick up.
Ugh.
The very next day I called back again. I'm like, she loved the price. I gave her what she wanted. What's going on here? So I finally got a hold of her. She called me back. She's like, "Oh, sorry, my actual internet was out, so I didn't see it. And I wasn't able to get it. Sorry, I'll sign it right now." So she signed it.
Ugh.
We had it
You're
done.
like, oh, thank goodness.
I was so scared. Like, I finally got a deal here.
You're right.
Yeah. So then I already had a buyer lined up. She was a family friend, and I showed it to her. She bought it. Ended up being like $35,000, or just over $35,000 for that deal.
Wow.
14 days from like start to finish. 14 days we had it closed.
That's so awesome. So in a matter of a few days, how many hours? Like when people hear it like took 14 days, you're like, wow, that's a lot of time. But it was like a lot of the times just waiting, right, for paperwork to be done, right?
Yeah.
So how many hours do you think you spent on that deal to get that deal?
So when I cold called this Driving for Dollars list, it was probably a list of about 150, and I had only gotten through about 50 of them before I got her.
Yeah.
And so I maybe spent an hour dialing, maybe 2 hours dialing, and then 30 minutes to drive to the house, 30 minutes to drive it over to the title. And then I actually helped her move a few things out of the house. So I spent maybe an hour of my time there. So altogether within the 14 days, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, wow, all in.
Half of a workday total, and you made $35,000.
Yes, sir.
Wow. what else do you know about that you can have that kind of success without having very much experience, without
Oh, I
having
don't know
employees?
anything.
I don't
Yeah.
either. I really don't. I don't know anything. Um, and the best part of all of it too is you can do it over and over and over. And plus you're playing around with discounted investment opportunities. So
Mhm.
then you can go, hey, I'm making all this money. How about we invest into a rental? And so you get an off market discounted property. You can negotiate seller finance. You don't have to get a loan. Like there's so many awesome opportunities in this business that you're a part of. So you do that first deal, and then what happens? Like why? So you knew Driving for Dollars worked. Brent Daniels talks about it's the best list, right? And it was what changed my life and my business was Driving for Dollars. And I teach people my system. Why did you even join my program? You were doing deals. Like why would you even want to learn from me? You're obviously a smart dude. Why?
Well, you have a whole plan set up, how to build a team, how to do the mailers and stuff like that. I'm not a huge mailers guy. I'll be honest with that. I haven't done a lot of that, but I know that you have the system set up to be able to do that. So once we start growing like our team, we can start doing that where I don't have to take care of the marketing. We can have somebody else do it. And the driving and you have the whole system with the Driving for Dollars, like you know how to get it done. And I know that you've done like over $1 million worth of deals just with Driving for Dollars. So yeah, I mean, I've like seen your stuff, so I want to learn from somebody else that is doing well in it. And you were the perfect guy for that. So
Right. Well,
yeah.
and I love that, and I appreciate you recognizing that, and I one thing that I think so awesome is I see people like yourself, and even me, we didn't come from real estate backgrounds, right? Completely different industries. I was a window washer, right?
Yeah.
You were in insurance, and we found some awesome mentors. We found some people that cared about us and gave us action steps, and it's kind of led me into also doing those same kind of things. And isn't it so neat that there's a wonderful people like Brent that are out there teaching and serving and helping other people have this kind of financial success?
Oh
Like
yeah.
it's
Awesome.
it's so wonderful, and it just makes me realize that there's truly an abundance in this world, right? So many people have this scarcity mindset that if we teach other people how we're finding success, we're going to train our competition, and they want to sign non-competes with employees, and they're all afraid, and they think if someone else is successful, that means less success for us. But it's actually quite the opposite. The more we serve and allow other people to become successful, the more success we'll have ourselves. So how long have you been a part of my program now?
Just over a year now too. I want to say it was, what are we in 2020 now? Yeah.
Yeah.
So towards the beginning of last year.
Gotcha. So you'd been wholesaling for about a year when you joined my program, and you've had some great things happen. You decided to join a franchise to have some more creative strategies to make more money. Do you want to share some of that?
Yeah, so I bought the McKeegley franchise here for the Austin area. So we help wholesalers dispo their deals. So we have a ton of buyers that we have a network with. We are buyers like ourselves also. So if there's any deals that a wholesaler needs help with, even just comping something, they can call me or whatever. I'll help them comp it. And if they want to get it sold, obviously I can help them sell it too and get that moved. But yeah, that's here in August of this year. So when I bought the franchise.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. So you basically help other wholesalers move deals if they're struggling to move deals themselves, or if they don't have a cash buyers list, you can help them. So if you guys are in the Austin area, and I assume you do a little bit around Dallas and that kind of stuff, or is it just Austin?
Austin down to kind of San Antonio, anywhere around Austin is my main area, but we do have a Dallas, a franchise also.
Okay.
We've got a San Antonio one too, but yeah.
Cool. So you can reach out to them. I'm a big believer in building your own cash buyers list and having that ability to control your own deals. But if you can't move a deal yourself, it's definitely kind of a bonus to have that as an option. And you're doing really well. So you've started doing deals. You're doing deals from your own marketing, and then you're also doing deals from people that bring you stuff because of the franchise. Do you mind sharing what those numbers have been like over the last few months? I was quite impressed. I think it's really awesome. I think we should share.
Yeah. So September, we only had two deals in September, and we did just under 74 or just over $74,000 for that month.
Wow.
And November was about 12,000 just off a single deal. We had a few title issues, so that didn't help us there. But This month we're on pace to do about $121,000
Wow.
with just, I want to say 4 deals.
That's
So the spreads are
incredible.
pretty big because we're doing the driving for dollars. So we're direct
Yes.
to seller. We're able to see the house, what it looks like, with our marketing, that we do ourselves. But yeah, driving for dollars is by far the best way to find the most like distressed properties. And you're usually going to be the only one contacting them too, because not everybody's going to have the same driving for dollars list. So
Yeah,
it's
even if
pretty
people are
great for us.
driving for dollars, right? Because I guarantee there's other people in Austin driving for dollars, but they're not going to tag the exact same house as you do. And even if they do, they're not on the same time frame, right?
Exactly.
And the marketing is going to be different. So it's like you pull a tax delinquent list that comes available on January 2021. Guess what? Everyone has that same list the same day, and they're going to be on the same schedule with postcards, cold calling, texting, all those things. And so you're just like pulling your hair out because you can't get a lead that, and if you do, there's 5 investors going, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And some newbie like sends an offer, $20,000 above what it's worth. It's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah, the drive for dollars list is by far the best. I love it. What are some of the big takeaways that you got from my program? Let's give some meat and potatoes here. So, yes, Driving for Dollars is the best list. You joined my program because you understood that. Like, what were some of the things you learned that you could maybe share with people that are listening to this?
Yeah. So teaching them how to hire the drivers, how to pay them, show them how to do all that type of stuff. Like I said, you do have your mailing stuff in there too that you kind of teach people how to do that. So yeah, I would just say building the team so you're not having to constantly drive yourself or send on the mailing yourself and things like that. But yeah, mainly how to build a team so you can have a business and not just a job.
100%. I totally believe that real estate investing is marketing. Our product is real estate, right? It doesn't matter if you're wholesaling, if you're doing multifamily and, buy and holds, like you have to have leads.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times what happens is people get into this, they hustle real hard, do a few deals, but then it's a lot of hustle and you get burnt out and it's a job. But without a system, without an automated marketing system with people doing the task day to day for you, it's really hard to build a business. So you really got to build a marketing channel that's automated so you can build a business around that. And that was one of the biggest things I learned and things that I'm so grateful for. And that's what I teach. That's what I help people with. So you're obviously crushing it. You're doing really well. Now that you're this seasoned wholesaler, right? You're making tens of thousands of dollars doing this, in a matter of a few weeks, truly. There's a lot of people that aspire to be where you're at. You should be very proud of yourself, right? You really should be. You've done it very fast in a couple of years. You have a Keegley franchise. You've paid a lot of money for coaching, and you've obviously done really well with that coaching you've paid for. Now that you have all this experience, what sage advice would you give yourself 2 years ago when you first were starting? What would you tell yourself? Like, what are the biggest things you've learned that you would tell that new investor?
I wish I would have started sooner, honestly.
That's not really an option though, right? I mean,
No, I
sometimes we
know.
gotta, maybe it's, you would start now, like don't delay, get to work.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, and I think a mentor is really going to help like speed up that process because I think that's why I was able to do what I'm doing now, like as quickly as I think I am, is because of the mentors I have and the money that I invested in myself. To get to where I'm at now. It wasn't just the programs I bought. I also invested in myself to go to different meetups and things like that.
Mm.
To
Do
really
you, do you have some like
learn.
books or self-improvement things that you did that you would suggest that were beneficial?
So the Go Giver was a really great one for me too. That's what I first started with. The Rich Dad Poor Dad was a good one. So all the most common ones that we hear about, but yeah, it's just the Rich Dad Poor Dad and then the Go Giver are really going to be the big ones I think that really helped me, go, get going.
Love it. Love it. Well, I love that you shared that you would, get a mentor, get an advisor. There's a lot of them out there, right? And you've hired a couple different mentors now. And I'm sure you've had different experiences with different ones and learned different things. But like a lot of times people are overwhelmed, right? And it's a big investment. You know, people could pay up to $25,000 for coaching, you know, or as low as $1,000, or you bought a little program for like $100 or whatever, right? Like, what would you suggest? How would you pick a mentor if you had to start all over again? Like, what are the things you would look for? Because not everyone's personality is the same, right? But
Yeah.
what makes a good mentor? Do you want to share that?
Yeah. So I think it's once you find somebody that really, you find that like relates to you when you listen to their podcasts, um, maybe find somebody else that has purchased their program. Make sure that they're doing deals also, or that they've done deals. So it's not just you're seeing somebody on a Facebook group. Hey man, I did this $35,000 deal. Contact me and I can help you do what I did. It's not the same thing.
Right.
So you really got to find somebody that's actually can show the track record, make sure that they really vibe with you. So when it came to Brent, when it came to you, it's just, you can really tell, or with me, I guess I could tell with people. So yeah, it's got to be somebody that you can feel that you can really trust. Some of them are going to cost a little bit of money. I'll be honest, I never paid, like $25,000 for anything, but I mean, $5,000, $4,000, I think it's totally worth it because you're going to make that money back
Right.
easily. But you got to put in the work though, too. There's a lot of people that'll jump into these programs and then they're saying that it doesn't work, but you ask them what they've done. Oh, I called for maybe, maybe 10 minutes on Monday and I didn't get a deal. Well, it's going to take a lot more than that. I mean,
Right.
it takes a lot of hard work to get this done. I mean, it's easy, but it does take hard work to make that kind of money.
I think it's best to say this process is simple. It's a lot of hard work. It's actually
Yeah.
not easy to be successful. The process is simple though, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
love the advice. Yes, I'm a mentor, but a lot of people might not vibe with me, like you said. They might be like, man, that guy's tall, gangly, goofy, like he drives a $3,000 car, like he's not rich, like I'm not that super flashy dude. And some people don't connect with that, and that's perfectly okay,
Yeah.
and I agree with that advice 100%. If you don't feel like you could be friends with that person,
Mhm.
don't hire him to be your mentor.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing that you talked about was, people, they said, oh, it didn't work, but they didn't do the action steps, right? They actually didn't put the work in. One thing I've learned too, though, is there's actually a lot of mentors now that I've been in the space a lot. There's a lot of mentors that don't give very good advice. They give a ton of information and education and like talk a lot, but they don't give action steps.
That's
Right.
true.
One of the things I actually love about Brent Daniels, and I bought his course, great course. People from Wholesaling Inc. I love them too. Partner company, and their courses are great because they're action steps. And it's the same way I coach as well. It's step-by-step action, like do this, do this, do this, all in these orders to get the results that I'm helping you to achieve. And so I would also suggest finding a mentor that's not bragging about how many hours he has on his course, hours of video, but like, hey, these are the action steps. These are the desired results. And then the other advice you gave was to reach out to some of the successful students that he's had and talk to them and see if it's legit. And a successful coach has successful students. Right? Not just himself being successful. Yes, they're doing deals themselves, but that's not enough. Being able to coach and guide someone through is a different skill set, and you have to have the heart for it.
Yeah.
And so definitely talk to these potential coaches, students. And with that being said, would it be okay if people reached out to you and said hi, whether they're in Houston and want to work with Key Glee, or they want to ask you questions about my program, or maybe even Brent's? Is that okay?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that'd be great.
Awesome. How would they reach you? Just social media or email, or what's best?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. It's going to be Phillip Villegas, Villegas, or you can shoot me a text too, 512-890-0278. Yeah, I'd be happy to help, even just, answer a question if you're going through, your own program and they have a question about a step, maybe. I don't mind, helping them out if I can.
100%. Cool. Well, I appreciate you being a go-giver, like the book you talked about, right? And serving other people. That's what this business is all about. There's no such thing as competition, just collaboration. It's 100% serving and helping each of us be more successful. The more success we have, the more our country thrives, and the the more opportunity there is for everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your story, and being willing to answer any questions that people might have. If you guys want to apply for my coaching program, it's by application only. I do not take everyone. You go to my website, dfdmastery.com, standing for driving for dollars. So dfdmastery.com, click on book a call, fill out the application, and either myself or one of my onboarding coaches will talk to you about the program and see if it's a mutual fit. So thank you so much for being here, brother, and we will talk soon.
Thanks.